I know you don't design drills to get guys to fight each other, but as a coach, was there part of you that didn't mind seeing the little scuffle?
Well, I don't mind. I don't know the scuffle. I can't. I honestly got it. Played a tough game. I don't remember getting in a fight with a guy. But there's battles. You get out battled and stuff, and you want to get back in there. But I don't want stupidity. I don't want some guy just to hit a guy for sake. That's dumb. But I don't mind a little bit of battle. Sure. Just listen. Just don't hurt each other.
In the battle drill, seemed like there were some intense moments. Do you like to see that from guys competing in practice?
Yeah, I think guys need it, but also you got to be smart too. You can't, I let it go more than I usually do because, you want to test guys. You can still battle without taking penalties. Stupid penalties, and some guys took penalties out there, and that's what we're trying to get over. If a guy beats you out of the corner, hooking a guy or slashing a guy makes no sense. Hopefully your buddy holds the fore for you until you get back into play. So that's why I let it go to prove the point that you get frustrated, you can't take stupid penalties.
A lot of this core over the past couple of years not experienced winning. So I'm curious at this point, what do you think about their ability to turn the page after something like last night?
Yeah, I mean that's where the coach staff has to help these guys. They're not experienced in those things. These are big games in March. For a lot of guys, they're not used to that. So games like yesterday, it's a big game. They can learn from last night, and now you have to apply it the next game. So that's how you learn. You just don't say, well, I haven't been playing playoff games, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take a couple of years. No, just learn from last night.
Just speaking about Vasily Podkolzin a little bit here, something that I just heard him say was he doesn't like to make mistakes, but it felt like to grow his game he had to. From what you've seen so far this season, do you like the way that, what are you liking, I guess?
Well, I think his hockey IQ's gone up. I don't want to say a percentage, but it's a lot higher the last year for sure. He's doing some reads there that are really good reads, where last year or the training camp, you're like, ooh, the reads are wrong. This one now you can say, hey, but he's in the right spot. He came back once as the F3, first forward back, and he did a hell of a job of making it like a read that it's a high level read. Some I should say a lot of forwards. Some forwards might have took the wrong guy. He left this guy for a D, and he went to the other guy, and I thought that was a great learning lesson for him in that pressure situation. So good for him.
I think the third period last night was just a blip in a run of 10 or 12 really good periods on the win streak, or in the light of day as you watch some film, the underlying numbers weren't particularly kind to your hockey club last night, even though you had the lead. So what did you make of the effort last night? And was it just the third period, or were there some concerns elsewhere?
Well, I think as the game went on, I obviously getting the 3-0 lead, there was some good stuff. But as the game went on and they made the push, we had 3 days off. We had a lot of time to prepare mentally and physically. Is it a blip? I hope it's a blip. But, you can't let that happen. I know they played Calgary the night before. Not a heavy workload. I think McKinnon hardly played in the third, but that doesn't matter. You got to learn how to put those games away. And like I said, is it a blip? Well, no. We'll see the next couple of games here if it's a blip or not.
Susie, you don't have to make lineup decisions, obviously, till Saturday, but those guys had a nice run there in January before Carson got hurt. How excited are you to reunite them if that's where you go?
Yeah, they had a really good stretch, playing more of a shutdown role. I thought they did a real nice job. Unfortunately, Seuss got so yeah. I mean, we do like that pairing. I'm not sure it's going to whether we stay with it or not, but we'd be crazy not to definitely get those back in the mix because they were pretty good a month or 2 months ago.
Rick, obviously it's a long season, and I'm sure you go to bed at night after games with your head spinning. Was that a tough sleep after a game like that where you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much a tough sleep. You're just disappointed, right? It's just we had 3 days off. We've had some good games we've strung together. 15 games left. We got to get our mode going here, our mojo, and I think, Colorado made a push, and we didn't punch back. Literally did not punch back. By grabbing a puck, get back on the forecheck, boxing out, doing something to get the game back. And I just thought all of us kind of just let it happen. So hopefully it's just a one-off thing.
I mean, you guys always talk about flushing games and moving on.
Yeah.
Do you want them not to flush that? Remember that?
No, I
and
want
maybe
them to
use
flush it. They've been good at that. Other than the, 2-3 weeks ago, we had, when we lost 4 or 5 in a row, or I forget what it was. But if you look at the whole year, if we've had a dud we've kind of bounced back. That's why before, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, we haven't put strings of losses together because they have a short memory, which is good. I like that about this team. And and I'll tell you what, 95% of the time the next day, if we have a dud, the practices are good. So I give them a lot of credit for that, bringing their energy the next day. That's a good thing.
As you move forward, you always talk about things getting tougher as the season progresses and the playoffs approach. You look at your team, people will probably classify it more as a speed team than a heavy team. How do you combat teams that play a heavier style, and how do you combat what's going to occur here in the next couple of months, hopefully?
Yeah, I mean, I wish we were a little bit better on the boards, a little bit more of a better wall team. We are we want to make plays. We want to, scoot and play fast. But I think if everybody gets better 5%, we got some guys that are never going to be great wall guys. Let's face it, and that's okay. But can they play 5 or 10% better on the wall or win a battle? I think that's the way we approach it here. Instead of having, I just think we can, if we spread out everybody getting better, I think that's the way we can be better as a team.
Is there anything you can do from a tactical perspective?
Yeah, practice, a lot of technique. We have a lot of good coaches. I have certain techniques on how to, go into a battle, how to be a wall guy, and to apply it is, it's hard in real time sometimes. I get it, but you got to stick with it in the pressure situations. That you have to think technique and the grit and all that stuff, but it has to come organically. But a lot of reps, doing a lot of reps help. Guys have gotten better. Don't get me wrong from the start of the year. But when it's like 3-2 and the puck's coming to you and it's a big play to either get it out or to make a play, those are the times when you're really looking at that player. You got to make that play. You got to make that play 7, 8, 9 times out of 10.
So one of the lessons you think the fellas learned from last night?
Well, let's face it. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to harbor on it, but over the years, March time, whether the guy gets it out or not, no big deal, right? Not making the playoffs. Now that the bar's raised here, now that rim's coming to you or that play you got to make, it's critical sometimes. And I think the more games that we can play under pressure is better for that, for guys to get better, I think.
Tyler Meyer said he admits that he's benefited from the structure that you've brought in. I don't know if you had some preconceived notions about what Tyler was as a player, but what do you notice? You've been his coach for a year and a bit. Well, what do you notice about him that helps your team?
Well, coming taking the job, you hear some stuff and there's some opinions from other people. This guy, this can't do this, whatever. And I came with a fresh mind. I think he's been one of the best guys to coach for me. A super guy in the room, never complains, and I think his game's gotten better because he listens. He had his struggles early. He knows there's certain things we don't want him to do, taking the puck back all the time. He had some bad habits back in the day. I think that a lot of those habits are gone, and I think we're a better team when he's in the lineup. I really do.
And I got one more. You've talked a couple of times this week when we've asked you about kind of load management and how you might use this time. As a player, or a former player, you wouldn't be surprised to know how unpopular that notion is in your dressing room. Is that just like two different species? A coach thinks this way, players think this way, and you got to do what's best even if they don't like it?
Yeah, I mean, it's, sometimes you have to make decisions on not really, some guys are even, this guy's a little bit better at certain times, certain games. I get it. We have healthy D, but somebody has to come out. And you have to have a good attitude because of it. Trust me, if you're way ahead of a guy, you're not going to come out of the lineup. But if you're all like this, that's where coaching becomes difficult because you got to pick the right guy, but also have the mental part of the guy and make sure that he's good. That's why when you acquire guys or you build team building stuff, that you get the right guys in the room. I've been on some teams where guys aren't as good and they don't play and they cause problems. And if that's the case, you eliminate the problem. You can't let the problem in the room. I don't see that here. I think guys understand. I know Kohler didn't play with one game. I guess it was after the Islander game, or so. I can't remember. He didn't like it. We had a great talk, but he took it like a man, and we moved on. Yeah.
You're not taking Quinn out because he played 25 minutes.
Well, right now we're no, but but load management too. I mean, we've been kind of lucky. I shouldn't say lucky, but there's been some games where he's only played 21 minutes because of the game and where we're at. And there's sometimes, but I'm not. We can't give Quinn a steady diet of 9-minute periods. I mean, we're out of our mind if we're going to win that way. We're not.
Coach, so in a situation like last night where the momentum switches a little bit, do you and your coaching staff consider loading up your top line back with Pettersson, Besser, Miller, or is it just we have to keep the lines as they are and see what flushes out?
I did it a couple of times. Didn't work. You guys are looking for that line to magically. I'm looking for each individual to play better. I'm not saying those guys in general. It works once in a while, but we've played this way the last 4 years. It's worked. We got pushed back by Colorado. I don't think I got to start loading teams. Like I think that's once in a while, but that's not the safe thing. That's not the secret sauce. No, I don't believe in that. To be honest with you, but that's a good question though. I do it. I'll put those guys together once in a while, but we got enough people here to turn the tide, I think.
Generational talent. Thanks for liking the video and subscribing.